Hey, y'all. Ooh, it's the early start to the weekend. So for me, it is the start of a wonderful, wonderful new chapter, baby. It's your girl birthday. Yes, Friday. I really should be like super turned. Your birthday fall on the Friday or weekend. Like I should be turned. I should have a whole lot of plans, but the only plan I have right now is to get me some coins this weekend, to be honest. And it is like 1:41 a.m. and I am headed to my other little side job, and that pretty much consists of watching children who are in the foster care system, watching them overnight, basically. So the situation is that some of them have to live in hotel rooms because there are not it's hard accommodating some behaviors. I'll put it like that. And if a youth refuses to go to a group home or a foster home, then I guess it's the burden of the agency that the youth is under to accommodate their living quarters. So that's what we are with having to shelter certain youth in hotel rooms, and I would love for us to be in the embassy or, somewhere upscale, but that's not the case because having somewhere upscale is not the goal. Having these children in a home, that's the ultimate goal. And when you at certain hotels, you like, oh, and I don't know the last time I've been up in something like this. Yeah. But yeah, it basically just it's such an awakening, right? I'm looking around, I'm like, man, it is so unfortunate that this is their circumstance because some of them did not choose this. Some of them, their behaviors escalated to their parents just having to say, hey, I cannot deal with this. I have other children who are growing up watching these behaviors. I can't risk them taking these behaviors on. And I'm not equipped to deal with these behaviors. So, hey, the state can take the kid. That's the case for some kids. For some other kids, they would love to be home with their parents. Parents would love to have them, but for whatever reason, the state has intervened and said, hey, yeah, we can't do this. You're not equipped. Whether it's drugs, whether it's domestic violence, something going on in the home that we don't feel that the youth is safe, right? So now you have a system that is overwhelmed, overworked, and overwhelmed. And it's really, really unfortunate because, an agency or a program, no matter how good the intentions are, they cannot adequately provide a youth with everything that they need, So they can just pretty much hit on the basics, which is like food, clothing, and shelter. They can try to assist with that, but as far as really being able to nurture and just wrap, those children in nurturing and love and direction and guidance, an agency or program can't do that. People have to do that. The people in their life have to be able to do that, and then they have to be wanting, they have to be open to that. And because a lot of their traumas and a lot of their ACEs, which are adverse childhood experiences, a lot of those things do not allow those kids to be open and warm and welcoming. In fact, I was welcomed the first night with what the F you looking at? You hear me? What the F you looking at? And I'm just standing there looking like not even staring or nothing, but it's a what the F you looking at, And I was like, hey, I'm cut from an old school cloth, and I'm cut from, hey, listen, I'm cut. You hear me? So it take a whole lot of humbling of you know, the natural instincts to come and to even be able to indulge these children who have certain behaviors. And a lot of people want to say, well, they kids, you can overlook them. Listen, when they in your face and they telling you, you know, what they gonna do to you, and they throwing stuff at you, they calling you all kind of this and that, you know, some people can take the verbal. Other people can't take the verbal. Like, I'm not really a person who like to deal with a whole lot of verbal. The verbal puts me on 10, right? But I have learned to be humble. You know what I'm saying? And actually, it's some things that I experienced a couple months ago that I had to endure some verbal stuff, right? And I really wanted to take it up to all kinds of levels, but I had too much to lose to do that. So that in turn humbled me. And when they say like all things work for the good, believe that now. Because had I not learned that lesson and really got it a couple months ago, I might couldn't even come and do this job right here, right now. Because I watched kids before. You know, I've been dealing with kids since I was a kid. But even then, back, you know, a couple years ago when, you know, that was like my main occupation, I got tired of the disrespect. You know, I was just like, hey, this is going to some levels that I don't know if I'm mature enough to handle that, you know, and I don't want to be in a physical altercation. But there's no way I'm going to let a kid send me out on disability or hurt me, you know what I'm saying? So I pulled myself away from that occupation, switch occupations, right? So to be back here, and I'm like, you know what? My patience is a little better. My endurance is a little better now. You know, I could be some bees now. You know what I'm saying? I done been bees for free. So you mean you gonna cut the check and you cutting a decent check? Who? I'm finna sit right here and act like on head. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So, man, listen. The moral of this story is if you are blessed and fortunate to have children, like, man, listen. It's bigger than dressing them cute on the first day of school. It's so much bigger than birthday parties and who can spend the most money on a decorator and like all the stuff that we have got into. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping that at some point we invest just as much time, just as much energy into loving on our kids, into talking to our kids, into building our kids, into you know, really guiding them and not letting, you know, their tablets take care of them, not letting social media take care of them and nurture them up and guide them and direct them. Like, we need to put that same energy when y'all looking for decorators that's charging y'all $1,500 and $1,800. You need to put that same amount of energy into making sure those children know how to articulate their feelings, making sure they know how to express themselves without anger, without animosity, making sure they know how to, you know, that they're comfortable enough to come to you and say, hey, this is going on at school, or this is going on, you know, when I go to my grandma's house, or this is going on, you know what I'm saying? Like, we need to minimize trauma with our kids. Like, we went through a lot of things. When I say we, I'm talking about my generation and my age group. We saw a lot of things that we were not supposed to see. We were involved in a lot of things that we should not have been privy to, right? Now, some of our parents did a good job with trying to keep us in a child's place. And others just said, hey, what goes on in this house stays in this house. But we shouldn't have been exposed to whatever was going on in the house anyways, on no levels, right? We shouldn't see no plates under no beds with razor blades in it. You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't be smelling stuff going on. We shouldn't see how our parents act when they drunk. Like, those are things that kids should never be exposed to. Those behaviors cause trauma to kids, where you feel like you grown and you can move around how you want, where you have some little eyes that's paying attention to you. Know that now. Know that they paying attention, right? When you get, you take it too far and now you cussing at their parents, you cussing at your loved one, your spouse, or you talking bad about their mama. Man, those kids are paying attention to that. That's trauma. You're causing trauma to your child. Know that now. And I'm not just talking out my head. I'm talking, number one, from experience, and then number two, from the type of children that I'm dealing with and that I see. And I see how trauma has affected these kids, to the point where some of them have no respect at all for adults, period. Don't even see you. They consider themselves to be on the same level intellectually, maturity-wise, physical-wise. There is no difference between them and you. And if I'm pushing 50, there's no way that a child that's 13 should feel like they're equivalent to me. You know what I'm saying? Somewhere, some way, some things got lost in the mix, And so I just want to encourage, parents, like I said, if you are fortunate enough to have birthed or participated in contributing your seed to a child being here on earth, like, that's a whole blessing in itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, do your part. Do the best that you could do. Do the work on yourself. It always comes back to self and doing work on self. Do the work on yourself so that you can give that kid not only what you had, but what you didn't have, right? And sometimes we be so focused on giving a kid what we didn't have that we forget to give the kids the good stuff that we did have, those values, those, things that really were instilled in us that were good. Everything that went on in our generation was definitely not bad. Some of it was just maybe a little misguided, like they meant well, but the way they delivered the lesson may have been a little off, but the intention behind it was well thought and well intended. But anyways, it's about time for me to go ahead and clock in for these little hours, and hopefully they won't be running away tonight or doing nothing out the way. I got my little prayer cloth on that my daddy bought me back from Jerusalem. It ain't the official authentic, but let me tell you something. When I had it the other night when I went in there, man, listen, when I say I had a good night, they just slept. And when I came in, one of them was ready. It was 2 o'clock in the morning when I was coming in, and she was dressed, getting ready to go. Where you going at? You ain't growing at 2 o'clock in the morning. Listen, when I say everybody went to sleep, I say, listen, you can't tell me that prayer don't change nothing. Let me tell you, it ain't the cloth. It's the fact that what it represents. The prayer cloth represents me being covered in prayer. Like the cloth covers me. The prayer, I'm covered by those as well. Because make no mistakes about it. Listen, a kid will harm you just like an adult. Hey, no sir. Lord, run me these coins and cover me at the same time. You hear me? But anyway, today is definitely a good day. And love on your kids today, y'all. Love on yourself. Do the work. Have a good one.